Welcome to Eco Radio. I'm Bob Grove, your host. Tonight, we're going to talk about environmental justice. Environmental justice is the fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people in the development and enforcement of environmental laws and policies. And that's all people, regardless of race, color, national origin, or income. We're joined tonight by Richard Mabion, Rachel Jefferson, Eslun Tucker, and Kristan Chamberlain. Richard Mabion is with Building a Sustainable Earth Community, the Kansas Sierra Club, and Climate Action KC. Richard's main objective is to find more ways for people of color to understand environmental and climate change issues. As a grassroots activist, he meets with neighborhood groups and low-income communities to share his experiences with projects on clean energy, energy efficiency, and conservation. Hi, Richard.
Hello, Bob. I really appreciate you asking me to be a part of this. I consider it an honor to have a chance to represent and talk about what we're doing over in Kansas City, Kansas. Most of my work is in Kansas City, Kansas, in the low-income portion of the population. And I am right now, after various circumstances that I found myself in, to include a climate action online course with Cornell University. I have now become the unofficial Green Czar in Wyandotte County that's dealing with creating a climate change consciousness for the low income community that is being considered an untapped market. So that's what my work is all about. And I spend most of my time finding ways to reach people. You talk about environmental justice, you have two sides of it. You have one side that focuses in on programs. You have another side that comes through the CAP agencies that focus in on people. I focus in on people. Thank you.
That's great, Richard. Rachel Jefferson is the Executive Director of Groundwork NRG, which provides resources, programs, and services that raise the bar on equity in the areas of community, economic, and human development. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, thank you for having me with you today.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Eslun Tucker is with Citizens Climate Lobby, Climate Action KC, and the Metropolitan Energy Center. Eslun lobbies for policies and legislation that reduces greenhouse gases, transitions to a clean energy future, and that equitably addresses the systemic disproportionate environmental impact on Black and other communities of color. Hi, Eslun.
Hi, Bob and everyone. I'm glad to be here too to talk about something that's a very important issue, which is environmental justice, which is a piece that we need to make at the center of whatever work that's being done going forward with regards to climate action and tackling not only the impacts of climate change, but ensuring that things are being done for mitigation and for adaptation, especially in Black and communities of color.
Well, thank you for joining us. Kristan Chamberlain is the Executive Director of KC Can Compost, a social and environmental enterprise that's committed to creating a green and environmentally just Kansas City by educating and employing the homeless. Hi, Kristan.
Hi, thanks for having me, Bob.
You're welcome. So let's start with, let's go back to Richard. Can you tell us more about your grassroots advocacy?
Yeah, I got started in 2006 when I got exposed to the environmental movement after Katrina had happened in 2005. And then spending some time researching it to find out what this movement was really about. Really the thing that sent me that direction was when I saw those clueless people that were milling around the Superdome. And also, if it hadn't been for the first responders and the Superdome, we don't know yet how many people we would have lost during that tragedy they had down there in New Orleans. So when I got started then, I found a book by a guy named David Corton. And the name of it was The Great Turning. And that's what got me my start in dealing in the environmental world and then dealing in the low income communities. But it wasn't until after that course I talked about it, I took at Cornell and realized that with all the work that's going on, no one is reaching the low income market. Our inner city people don't even recycle. They have no clue what that's about. So everything that's going on is going on for the sake of the industry, but nothing and very little is going on for the people that's involved.
Well, thank you, Richard. Rachel, tell us more about Groundwork NRG and their programs.
Yeah, happy to. So Groundwork Northeast Revitalization Group, formerly known as the Historic Northeast Midtown Association, has been in existence since 2012. Our primary service area is Northeast KCK. We serve that area through a mission, which is to sustain or revitalize our Northeast KCK community through forward-looking and inclusive action rooted in the principles of equity, community cohesion, institutional transparency, and environmental justice. We do this work by working with neighborhood groups, businesses, community members, and local governments, which we partner with to develop our programming and projects that are always action-driven and improve the quality of life in Northeast KCK.
Thank you. Eslun, tell us, you mentioned that you lobby for specific policies, legislation. Tell us about some of those.
Well, I got involved with Citizens Climate Lobby back in 2017 when I was looking for a way that I could do something actionable to help move the ball and to help us not only here locally, but but on the national arena. Move forward solutions that will be necessary to help us meet the Paris Climate Accord goals to make sure that we stay below, 2 degrees Celsius and our fight against climate change and global warming. And but more broadly, I got involved in advocating for climate solutions, also with a particular focus on environmental justice, because all too often Black and Brown communities have been more impacted, and they also are, when it comes to the solutions, are the last to be considered. And so I think it's important to target and to prioritize vulnerable Black, low-income, and other communities of color to mitigate against the impacts of extreme weather conditions, for instance, extreme weather events, which include droughts and storm and heat island effects, but pollution also. And then also to tackle the higher energy costs that they would be facing. As a matter of fact, currently, high energy costs are affecting communities, and it should be a big concern to us all. According to the, Kansas City's 2019 housing study, heating and cooling homes accounted for nearly a third of housing costs, adding to the cost burden for lower income residents and making housing less affordable. And one solution that we can also look at is housing retrofits for existing homes to provide weatherization, to reduce carbon emissions, and to build resiliency and sustainably, lower energy costs, while also improving the values of the homes occupied by these same families living in neighborhoods in areas like Kansas City, Missouri's east side, by updating the city's building energy codes to the 2021 IECC standard for new construction is another way. And that's an area that I've also been advocating.
Great, Eslun, I really appreciate that. Kristan, I know that you're in the environmental industry. You're a partner with the Climate Council of Greater Kansas City, but you also have a large focus on environmental justice. Tell us about KCK Compost.
We do. We're sort of tackling the issue, one, just the climate issue from a compost standpoint, and trying to educate and bring both businesses and individuals into that process and make it easy for them. Our environmental justice focus really started with the environmental justice grant we received last year for education and training. So we're operating a green jobs training program, which is designed for people with a lot of barriers to employment. And the other side of that, we're really trying to build into that program is leadership, so that people going through our program are not only being educated and trained for living wage jobs, but they're also learning how to become leaders and voices and spokesmen that can go back into their communities and basically start initiating change from inside out.
Thank you. I'm Bob Grove, and we're talking about environmental justice. When we return, we're going to discuss the placement of environmental impacts in poor communities.